Ford may be preparing a major truck engine shakeup that could change everything you thought you knew about the F-150. Welcome back to Cars Review. According to leaked order guides and dealer documents circulating online, Ford appears to be reversing course on a strategy it's followed for years, quietly pushing buyers away from V8 power and toward smaller, turbocharged EcoBoost engines. If these documents are accurate, this could represent a major engine shift for the 2027 F-150. Let's start with the base engine, the 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 that served as the F-150's entry point appears to be on its way out. In its place, Ford is reportedly considering a 3.0-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6, already used elsewhere in the automaker's lineup. That engine produces around 400 horsepower in some of Ford's other applications, though its final output in the F-150, if Ford uses it at all, one could differ. If the F-150 version does land near that figure, it would represent roughly a 23% increase over the outgoing 2.7 liters reported output. Now here's the real story. In recent years, Ford reportedly pulled the 5.0-liter Coyote V8 from the King Ranch and Platinum trims, leaving those top-of-the-line buyers to choose between turbocharged, six-cylinder options instead. According to the leaked documents, that appears to be changing. Ford seems to be planning to restore the 5.0-liter V8 as an option specifically on those King Ranch and Platinum trims. If accurate, that would mark a significant reversal of Ford's recent V8 strategy, and buyers could once again have access to the 5.0-liter across a much broader range of F-150 trims. Then there's the performance ceiling. The Raptor R is also expected to retain its supercharged 5.2-liter V8, reportedly producing more than 700 horsepower, making it the most powerful powertrain in Ford's half-ton pickup lineup and seemingly untouched by this shakeup. So why is Ford apparently doing this now? The timing is especially interesting because Ram has already reversed its own V8 strategy with the return of the Hemi. At the same time, Chevrolet and GMC continue to invest heavily in V8 power for their own full-size trucks as the segment moves into its next generation. Whatever the reason, the timing is hard to ignore. But here's where this story gets even more interesting, because the engine changes we've covered so far may only be the beginning. So what is actually driving this shift? And what does the 2V8 story really mean for the 2027 F-150? So when people say Ford is bringing two V8s to the 2027 F-150, that doesn't mean Ford developed two brand new engines. It means two existing V8s could be part of the broader 2027 lineup, the naturally aspirated 5.0-liter Coyote and the supercharged 5.2-liter in the Raptor R. The naturally aspirated 5.0-liter Coyote is reportedly returning to trims, such as King Ranch and Platinum. Based on the leaked documentation, it's worth being precise about that distinction, because it changes the story from Ford invented new engines to Ford is rethinking who gets access to the V8s it already builds. Still, the significance shouldn't be understated. In current F-150 applications, the 5.0-liter Coyote produces around 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. It's not the most powerful engine on the spec sheet, but it's prized for its high revving character, naturally aspirated response, and long-standing reputation among Ford enthusiasts. Now, this is where we leave the leaked document territory and enter pure speculation. Some Ford and truck enthusiasts have floated a bigger question. Could Ford eventually bring its 7.3-liter Godzilla V8 downstream from the Super Duty lineup into a version of the F-150? That engine currently produces over 400 horsepower and well over 400 pound-feet of torque in truck applications while using a simpler pushrod architecture. To be clear, there's no confirmed leak or documentation suggesting this is happening for 2027. It's an interesting possibility, but at this point, there's no evidence Ford is planning it. Back to what's actually documented. According to the leaked order guide information, the 2027 F-150 could span 6 distinct engine or powertrain configurations: the potential 3.0-liter EcoBoost V6, the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, the 3.5-liter PowerBoost hybrid, a high-output version of the 3.5-liter EcoBoost, the 5.0-liter V8, and the 5.2-liter supercharged V8 in the Raptor. R that would give the 2027 F-150 a remarkably broad range of engine and powertrain choices. For comparison, Ram's Hemi comeback represents a return to traditional V8 power, while Ford's apparent move is less about introducing a new V8 and more about expanding where its existing V8s can be ordered. GM is also continuing to emphasize naturally aspirated V8 power in the Silverado and Sierra. So while GM is emphasizing new generation V8 hardware, Ford's apparent strategy is different. Expand access to the V8 engines it already has. Let's break down exactly which trims are expected to get which engines, based on the leaked order guide information circulating right now. Starting at the bottom of the lineup, the documentation reportedly points to the 3.0-liter EcoBoost V6 becoming the primary engine for the XL, STX, and XLT trims, potentially replacing the 2.7-liter. These are some of the highest volume and most accessible trims in the lineup, making any engine change here significant for a large number of buyers. If the F-150 version lands near 400 horsepower, that would be a substantial increase over the outgoing 2.7-liter. Moving up, the Lariat trim is where things get more interesting. Configurations of the Lariat are reportedly expected to offer the 3.0-liter EcoBoost as well, while others retain access to the 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, the 3.5-liter PowerBoost hybrid, or the 5.0-liter V8. That could make Lariat one of the most flexible trims in the lineup when it comes to engine choice, depending on cab configuration and package. The Tremor is also reportedly set to retain access to the 5.0-liter V8, according to the leaked information, positioning it as one of the more accessible ways to get a naturally aspirated V8 in an off-road capable truck. But the real surprise comes when you reach the top half of the lineup. That's where King, Ranch, and Platinum reportedly get something they haven't had in recent years: access to the 5.0-liter Coyote, according to the leaked documents. These top-tier trims, which have recently emphasized the 3.5-liter EcoBoost and PowerBoost hybrid, are expected to regain the V8 as an option. For buyers who want a luxury interior without giving up the traditional V8 experience, this could be one of the most significant changes in the 2027 order guide. At the top sits the Raptor and Raptor R. The standard Raptor is expected to continue with its high output 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6, while the Raptor R is expected to retain its supercharged 5.2-liter V8, which appears separate from the broader engine changes we're discussing here. As for pricing, Ford hasn't published official 2027 figures, so any specific dollar amount would be speculation. Historically, engine pricing has varied considerably by trim and configuration, meaning the return of the 5.0-liter to King, Ranch, and Platinum doesn't automatically tell us what Ford will charge for it. The important point is that buyers shouldn't assume the V8 will be either a major premium or a bargain until Ford releases the official order guide and pricing. It's also worth noting that none of this is confirmed by Ford directly, and automakers do sometimes adjust plans before final production. Still, if these reports hold up, this could represent a meaningful increase in choice for F-150 buyers. So let's zoom out. What does all of this actually mean for the future of V8 power in America's best-selling truck? If these leaked documents hold up, the 2027 F-150 would represent a notable shift in direction for Ford. For the past several years, the broader industry narrative was that turbocharged, smaller displacement engines were the future, and naturally aspirated V8s were on borrowed time. Ford's own recent trim restrictions on the 5.0-liter Coyote seem to support that narrative, but if the King, Ranch, and Platinum trims really do regain V8 access, that tells a different story. One where customer demand for traditional V8 power hasn't gone away, and automakers are listening. It's also worth putting this in context with the rest of the truck market. Ram's return of the Hemi and GM's continued investment in naturally aspirated V8s for the Silverado and Sierra suggests this isn't just a Ford story. Across the full-size truck segment, there appears to be a broader reconsideration of how much buyers actually want to move away from V8 power, even as electrification and hybrid technology continue to expand elsewhere in these same lineups. That said, it's important to end on the same note we started with. Everything covered in this video is based on leaked order guide information and dealer documentation, not an official announcement from Ford automakers. frequently adjust plans between leaked documents and final production, and specifications, trim availability, and pricing can all shift before a vehicle actually reaches dealer lots. Ford has not confirmed any of these details publicly as of this video. With that said, if this information proves accurate, the 2027 F-150 could end up offering one of the broadest and most flexible engine lineups in the truck's history, something for budget-focused buyers, something for luxury buyers who still want a V8 under the hood, and something for performance buyers at the very top with the Raptor R. Whether that's enough to keep pace with Ram and GM's own V8 pushes is something we'll only know once official numbers, pricing, and real-world reviews start rolling in. We'll be keeping a close eye on this story as more information comes out, including any official confirmation from Ford. If there's a specific trim, engine, or comparison you want us to dig into next, whether that's a deeper look at the Raptor R, a side-by-side with the Ram Hemi, or a breakdown of GM's new V8 families, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, right here on Cars Review.